In a previous video, we discussed when is a cop allowed to approach a parked car. What if a different scenario? What happens if you're sitting at a red light, minding your own business, when suddenly a police officer walks up, taps on your window, and asks for ID? Can they do that, or is that an illegal stop? This exact question came up in a case of New York versus Ocasio. The officers walked up to a car that was stopped at a red light, showed their badges, and asked the driver for identification. The Court of Appeal said sometimes that's legal and sometimes it's not. Now here's the key test. Would a reasonable person in that situation feel free to drive away? If the officer's actions made you feel trapped or detained, that's considered a seizure under the law. The courts look at things like, were there flashing lights or sirens? Was the officer's gun drawn? Were there multiple officers? Did they block your car in? Or was it just a calm conversation through the window? In the Ocasio case, there were no lights, no guns, no commands. So the court said it was just a level 1 request for information. Now that's the lowest level. It's a brief and voluntary encounter. But not every approach is legal. In a case called Bonaccorso, a driver was simply pulled over because his headlights were close behind. In Bonaccorso, a driver simply pulled over to the side of the road. There were no lights on. An officer stopped and approached him anyway, with no real reason. The court said that was unlawful, and threw out all the evidence that came after. On the flip side, in a case called People v. Thomas, the car was stopped in front of a fire hydrant. That stop was legal, because the driver was already violating a traffic law, and can reasonably be expected, if he's violating a traffic law, to be in contact with law enforcement. So here's the takeaway. If your car is stopped, but not parked, police can only approach you if there's an objective, credible reason to do so. If they block you in, use lights or commands, and you don't feel free to leave, that's then a seizure, and it must be backed by reasonable suspicion. If it's not, everything that follows, the questioning, the search, even if you get arrested, can be thrown out. How does this apply to a DWI case? Let's just say someone stopped on the side of the road, but parked legally. Not in a strange place, not blocking a hydrant. They may be able to approach your car, but they can't turn on their lights, and they can't start asking you questions that will make you feel that you're not free to leave. On the other hand, if your car's parked on the side of a highway, that's obviously not a normal situation. Cars aren't supposed to be parked on the side of the highway. There, a cop certainly would have reason to not only approach your car, but to start asking questions to make sure that everything is okay, because it's certainly out of the ordinary that the car is on the side of the highway.